Hello everyone, Emily Johnson here for the Art of Senior Fitness Program Design. I am coming to you live from Mexico right now and did have some technical technical difficulties uh, getting it up and running, but looks like it is now working. So let's check here. Perfect. Live on LinkedIn, live on Facebook. All right, wonderful. So as I said, right now, live from Mexico. I've had a beautiful week here. I am also recording just in case at any point something weird happens with the internet or it gets choppy on your end. I will put up the posting after that or the video recording after the fact, okay? So hello everyone, happy Friday. If you just got the alert, Emily is live or StrongerU Senior Fitness is live. What have you got yourself into? This is the Art of Senior Fitness Program Design. It's part 9, but you don't have to have had watched the previous parts in order to join in today's conversation. At any point, please feel free to comment, let me know you're here, ask questions, share things that have worked for you. And since we are live on both LinkedIn and Facebook, what I'll do is if you have a question or a comment on either platform, I'll just read it so that way the other platform can hear what's going on as well. All right, so let's get to it here. Today we're talking about exercise adherence. So getting and keeping your participants engaged all the way from that pre-contemplation stage that you can see there in that stages of change model, all the way to the maintenance stage, and then how to deal with possible relapse as well. Since I'm at Mexico today, I don't have my usual setup here, but I am attached to the room TV here. So from time to time, you'll see me sort of looking up to the corner because that is where my TV is for today. So let's, there we go. Perfect. So as I said, we're going to talk about the stages of change model or the oh gosh, forgetting the name right now. It goes by another name as well. And ultimately, these are the steps that the people who are thinking about taking your class or are taking your class will typically fall into one of these stages. So first starts with pre-contemplation. So at this stage, they're not thinking about exercising. They're pretty content with their current lifestyle, their current habits. You know, they probably don't exercise and they really have no desire to. And they may actually be in denial about their need for physical activity and their current health status. So as we know, research continues to tell us the best way to stay physically strong as well as intellectually sharp is to take part in physical activity. So that being said, everyone should be taking part in some sort of physical activity regimen. So if you have an individual who you feel like falls into this category, they're not interested in exercise, there's a few things that you can do. Education is going to be key, telling them about the benefits, telling them about what's going to make it fun for them. Maybe they don't want to join because of the physical activity benefits. Maybe they would rather join for the intellectual or the social benefits of the program. So we talked a bit about that last week, so check out last week's video where you really want to tailor it to the person that you're talking to, and that's going to have the best chance of having them start to think about, hey, maybe I do want to look into being physically active. So then we move into the contemplation stage. So at this stage, they do begin to think about the possibility of exercising. They're thinking, hey, I've walked past that class a million times. Maybe that would be fun to try. Maybe their doctor has recommended that they get more active, that they could benefit from taking part in physical activity. Maybe they've got encouragement from a friend. Maybe a friend said, hey, you know, I'm going to this really awesome StrongerU Senior Fitness class. I think you would love it. You should come down. Sometimes it's a bad thing that happens in their life, something like a fall or a diagnosis, and they realize, you know what, I really got to get my butt in gear, and I do need to start taking care of my body, being a little bit more strong, taking care of my heart and lungs. And as a result, worried about their declining fitness. So this is where education really does play a bigger key, because now the person is a little bit more open to hearing you. In the pre-contemplation stage, they're probably not interested, but we can always do our best to educate and give information. This is the stage where education is going to be key. You do want to have some information about the benefits, what they can expect from the program, and all of those sorts of things ready for them to help them make that decision. Now just pause there for a moment and just check if we have any questions. Usually I have a little bar where the questions show up, but I don't have it today, so I'll just periodically pause from time to time and double check to see if anyone has any questions. Next, we move into the preparation phase. So this is where the person has decided, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna start to exercise. I'm gonna get myself prepared. They might start researching the program options in their community. And this is something we talked a bit about yesterday, how you can really create that awesome customer experience from the time they walk up to inquire about your program until the time where they take action. They might be starting to buy new exercise gear, arranging transportation, and this is where it's really key for you to, again, educate, but also education on the preparations they should be taking. So what kinds of clothes should they be wearing to the program? What kinds of shoes should they be wearing? What can they expect from the program? So this is where they're a little bit fragile in the stages where they might be getting excited about it. I know there's probably so many of us out there, not just older adults, where we're like, okay, especially at the new year, this is it. I'm gonna get active. I'm gonna start exercising. I got the running shoes. I've got the outfit. But it's really important that we help them truly keep going and get to that action stage. So the action stage, this is where it starts to get really good. They attend their first class, and as I said, they're like a little fragile egg. Anyone, any age who's starting something new, there is about 1 million things that could go wrong and are going to turn this person off from continuing to adopt that habit. So it's very, very important that we have encouragement and support, and we're there for the person, and we address any issues that they might have, because if they have a bad experience during this stage, they could decide, okay, you know what, this was a terrible idea, this is just not going to be for me, and they may just abandon that habit altogether. So this is very important. And there's a few strategies that you want to incorporate into every class, and this is going to help to even help your fragile eggs, but really for everyone, even those who are in the maintenance stage as well. So always start by setting class expectations. So I mentioned I'm here in Mexico right now. I'm actually doing a teaching exchange. I have over 8 fitness certifications, and one of them is Strong 30. So right now I'm here in Mexico. Every morning I'm teaching a Strong 30 class for the individuals at the resort. And when I start my class, I always start by telling the individuals what they can expect, tips and tricks, things to watch out for. And that's really important because I want them to have a great class, not be too sore the next day, and join me again. So if I was teaching a class to older adults, a StrongerU senior fitness class, I may say something along the lines of, hello everyone, my name is Emily. I'm going to be your instructor for today. This is StrongerU Senior Fitness Strength. It's going to be a 30-minute class. We're going to do a dynamic warm-up to get the muscles and the joints prepared for the work. And then we're going to do about 20 minutes of seated or standing strength exercises for both the upper and the lower body. I'm going to do the option standing. You can do them seated if you'd like. And then we'll end with a cool down and a stretch. So whatever class you're teaching, you do want to set expectations. You want to start with a bit of a spiel, and you're going to know who are the new people in your class and who are the individuals who know what to do, but it's a good reminder for everyone. And this could be that you also spend a bit of time with that person at the beginning of the class and just let them know, hey, it's easy to get excited on your first class and get really into the movements and maybe do a little too much or go a little too far because you're excited. So just try to take it easy today and drink water, ensure you're breathing, going in safe ranges of motion, and that's going to help you to be really successful today. And then also even checking in with them at the end of class and just asking, hey, how did that feel? Was it too hard? Was it too easy? Any feedback that they might have. And then again, reminding them to drink water and to take it easy for the rest of the day. And sort of a little story here from being in Mexico. I had a couple come to my class on their second day of their trip. The wife's been coming back every single day to take my class, but the husband said, oh, my back right in here, my lats were really hurting, after I took your class. And part of that is in the class I was teaching, we do a bit of rotational movement to warm up the spine. And if you go too far, your muscles are going to not feel so great the next day. So that's an example where in the moment, he felt like he was totally doing it right. He was having fun, and the next day was not so fun. So it is really, really important at the beginning of a first class, let people go at their own pace throughout the program, safe ranges of motions. And for you as the instructor, it's important to offer different options. So for StrongerU Senior Fitness, we have both the seated and the standing options, but we also have options within each of those areas. So if I see a class who is just amazing, I'll use the Good Companions 50 plus group in Calgary, Alberta. They are just phenomenal. So when Talis teaches them, when I teach them, we're really giving them the options so they can get a really great workout. But if we had someone who is brand new, we might say, hey, start this class seated. If you feel like standing halfway, feel free to join us at that option. And really, really important to provide encouragement. Remove any pressure about making mistakes. Again, I'll use a story from this week. I had a gentleman join me for a class. He actually got a one-on-one class, and he assured me that he was an exerciser, but he was really struggling. So for me as the instructor, I had to pretty well abandon my plan because he could not keep up with what I had planned, and I had to slow it down. I had to take the time. I had to show the movements a different way, different types of coaching. So sometimes that's really important as well. If you want your participants to continue to come back, you have to make it about them. And sometimes that means meeting them where they're at. Sometimes that means adjusting the choreography or the moves and giving those options. And if they still don't get it, that's okay. We're just here to have fun, get a good workout. We don't need to be too worried about making mistakes. So really important to take that pressure away. Now we have the maintenance stage. So this is where we hope that our fragile legs come to their first class, they stick with it, they're starting to adopt the habit, they're getting more consistent. And maybe they're starting to attend 1 to 3 classes a week, they're feeling really successful, they're smiling like the people I have in the picture over here. At this point, reinforcement is still important, but it might not be every single class. It might not be specific to them because when they're brand new, you do want to talk to those fragile legs and say, hey, how did class go today? Oh, you're doing great. You've come to 3 classes. Once they've come to 30 classes, let's say, at that point, you might not need to constantly be giving them that encouragement. And this is where we're going to talk a bit more about this next week. I'm not sure what I'm going to call next week's session. I'm going to have to play around with the name there that really kind of draws together everything that I want to talk about. But we're going to talk about how you add components to your program to help individuals maintain. So things like gamification, turning the program into a game, whether that's a point system or ballots of prizes, or maybe it's incorporating the fitness testing that we've talked about in previous sessions as well. And really important when keeping people engaged is building in those 7 dimensions of wellness. And we talked about this in a previous session as well, but just to kind of recap the high points of that, when someone comes to just get physically fit, sometimes over time that can sort of lose its luster and maybe people aren't as engaged as they used to be. But when you incorporate multiple dimensions of wellness, you really provide multiple ways for people to engage with the program and to be excited about the program. So things like intellectual challenge, we talked about adding combinations or memory games or brain games, things like that, in order to help individuals feel intellectually engaged in the program as well as physically. Definitely adding in the social component, and that could be through partner work, that could be through group work, but that can also be before or after the class. Have people coming together. Maybe it's a smoothie social after the program. Maybe it's not something that happens every week, or every class, but maybe at regular intervals we have a new member social, or we have a milestone recognition where if someone's come to so many classes, we can recognize or celebrate the achievements that they've made. So for spiritual and emotional, we talked a bit about this in the previous session, and maybe that could be adding in music, adding in a mindfulness component, adding in a gratitude practice. So people are really emotionally tied to the journey, and that could be as simple as just taking a few moments to sort of think about the journey. Say, hey, today we're going to sit for our last 5 minutes and we're going to just replay in our heads the journey we had from making that decision to start exercising, to starting exercising, to how it's felt now to maintain. Think about how your body's changed. Think about how your perspective on life or perspective of exercise has changed. So you can really build in these multi-dimensional components. Environmental. The weather is going to be warming up soon enough, so getting your class outside, going for walking groups, getting in nature. I've seen groups where not just a walking group but also photos at the same time, and so you're adding these different components to the program, so it's no longer just about the exercise. And the one I skipped there is vocational or the purposeful dimension of wellness. So again, we talked about this a bit last week and in a couple of weeks ago, but ensuring that we are giving people a sense of purpose. Maybe they've been in the program for 6 months, they keep coming back, but they need something to keep them engaged. So whether that is becoming an ambassador for the program, that's helping to welcome those fragile new eggs, going for coffee with those new participants after the class, this is going to keep that person who's been in the program a long time really, really engaged in the program. And relapse. So this can happen really at any point. As I said, when you're in that beginning pre-contemplation, or in the contemplation or the preparation stage, especially in the beginning of the action stage, if anything goes wrong, individuals might be at risk to relapse on the habit, which means maybe they're going to go back to their old ways. So really, support and encouragement during a relapse is important, probably the most important thing. Just letting them know that you care. So it could be just calling the participant and saying, hey, I noticed that you haven't come back to class yet. And sometimes people will say, oh, I had a cold, I had other commitments, but that call really makes people feel so incredibly special that, wow, someone actually missed me. Someone missed I was there. You could take this a step further, and when someone in your class is not feeling well, they're off for a period of time, sending them a card from the whole group or a picture from the group saying, hey, we're missing you. We can't wait till you feel better and you're back. So these little touches are so important for helping people stay engaged in the program, and when they fall off the wagon, helping them to come back to the program as well. So that's all I have for you today. I know I ran through that a little bit faster than usual. Usually I'm running out of time at the end, and this time I've got some extra time. So I just wanted to touch a little bit on, everyone's very concerned about coronavirus right now, and just a couple of safety and sanitation items. So if you are continuing to run your fitness classes, So important. Wipe down the chairs, wipe down the weights, wipe down the bands, your balls, whatever you might be using. And a lot of equipment can actually go in your dishwasher. If you work at a retirement community, or you work at a community center and they happen to have a commercial kitchen, then that's a great opportunity to really run them through for really good sanitation. Just double check the settings on your dishwasher, and of course the type of equipment that you're putting in there as well. But generally speaking, weights and balls are going to be just fine to go through there, and they can save you a lot of work from having to hand wash as well. And I know a lot of people who are young and healthy are thinking, oh, you know what, coronavirus is not really that big of a deal. But if you do work with older adults, you could be a carrier of that, or you could maybe just have some little symptoms, but the danger really does become you passing on those symptoms to vulnerable populations, individuals who might already have other chronic conditions where that could cause a complication. So it is really important that all of us, no matter how healthy, do the things that we can to stop the spread. And of course, there's a lot of cancellations of big events. So even right now, your classes might be being asked to be canceled in order for you to just limit groups coming together. So definitely look at what the recommendation is for your area and follow those guidelines. And the last thing I just want to mention on a lighter note is the True North Challenge. So we will be through this coronavirus in no time, because everyone's going to be isolating and stopping the spread. And once the warmer temperatures are upon us, you should definitely, or even now, check out the True North Challenge. If you go to StrongerU-senior-fitness.didact.com, you can get all the details there. Essentially, in the lead up to Canada Day, we are offering a challenge where if you sign up, you'll get a video, a track, the True North Challenge track, and you can then learn and teach that choreography to your group. And the winning group, the instructor will be getting a free certification. If you're already certified through StrongerU Senior Fitness, you're going to get free access to our series for 1 year. And your class is going to get t-shirts and bragging rights. So definitely something, if you are canceling classes right now, that you can sort of look forward to is possibly winning the True North Challenge, okay? So thank you so much for joining me today. I will be back next week. I told you last week that I would be away next week, but I will have a Art of Senior Fitness program design. I don't know what I'm going to call this one. I have to think a little bit on that still. But essentially, we're going to talk a bit about sort of maintaining your class, different sort of programs you can run, and promotions and things like that to kind of keep people engaged, contests and things like that. So let me think about what I'm going to call that name, and when I put the post out on Monday for part 10, we're at part 10 already, we'll do that next week. And then the week after, super excited, I will have a guest on the Art of Senior Fitness program design. Lisa Moorhead, who is the active living manager at Berwick-Comox Valley, is going to be joining me to talk a bit about physical fitness and in senior living, and just really in general. So join me in 2 weeks for Lisa live on the Art of Senior Fitness design. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you next week. Oh, and this is where I get my screen over here. Good. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.